To say Rabbit Hash, Kentucky is small would be to far overstate its size. This place with a descriptive name is made up of only 3 acres and a few buildings, but its general store has been around since the 1830s and is known far beyond its location along the banks of the Ohio River.
Rabbit Hash is located in northern Kentucky, across the river from Rising Sun, Indiana. The unincorporated community in Boone County is not your typical town. It made headlines for electing a dog to serve as mayor in 1998, which started a tradition of canine mayors. The general store has been operating since 1831 and is considered the heart of this community. It's also listed on the National Register of Historic Places. Preserving the past has always been important to local leaders in order to maintain the charm of the area.
When people come to Rabbit Hash, they feel like they're stepping back in time to a simpler time, a time when community was what was central. And all communities need a place to gather. And Rabbit Hash, what makes us unique from other tourist destinations, because we get people from all over the country, from all over the world, what makes us unique is that just as it was in 1831, 1900, throughout the years, it's still a living, breathing community.
Rabbit Hash is a favorite day trip destination, especially for visitors from larger cities nearby, including Cincinnati, Louisville, and Lexington. It's also become popular with groups of motorcyclists on the weekend and can easily get crowded because the community is very small.
Well, today, Rabbit Hash encompasses 3 acres. We have 5 actual buildings and 2 more little buildings. So we are seven buildings total, and pretty much don't blink or you won't see it driving by. We have 1/2 of a permanent resident, and only 1/2 because he winters in Florida and we can't count him the whole year long.
The general store is certainly the highlight of a trip to Rabbit Hash. Musicians often gather around the wood stove when the weather turns colder. The store carries unique items that shoppers can't find anywhere else.
Whether it's food items like our Rabbit Hash salsas, Rabbit Hash hot sauces, various food products from local Kentucky producers. We even have our own Rabbit Hash beer, Rabbit Hash cream ale, and Rabbit Hash lager. But also sundry items, whether it's clothing items or fun T-shirts and mugs. So it's a kind of a shopper's paradise. Nooks and crannies, places to find things you won't find elsewhere.
The general store was started by a group of farmers in the area about 1830. They needed a place to store their goods that would eventually be shipped by steamboat along the Ohio River. The location along the river has been challenging at times due to severe flooding in the area. The town got its unique name due to flooding in the mid-1800s that caused an abundance of rabbits in the area to head to higher ground.
So one of the richer farmers turns over to the town drunk. Can't remember his name right now, but they said, "What are you going to have for Christmas dinner?" And he's sitting there and he's watching the river. The waters are rising. All the little lowland creatures are rushing up the hill. And there were a bunch of rabbits there. So he sits there and he goes, "Well, looks like there's going to be plenty of Rabbit Hash around here this year." And they thought it was funny. It actually became his nickname, but then a few years later when Kentucky asked us to change our name, it became Rabbit Hash.
The general store and other area buildings have had various owners throughout the years. Lewis Scott, known as the founder of modern-day Rabbit Hash, bought several buildings in the late 1970s. About 15 years ago, the Rabbit Hash Historical Society purchased all of the buildings from Scott in an effort to preserve and maintain the area. Historical Society President Bobby Kaiser says when visitors come on the weekends, there's more to see than just a visit to the general store.
The weekend is when all the businesses are open as well. So we have a restaurant, and we have a glassworks, we have a wine tasting shop, the general store, and there's more to do and more to see on weekend.
In February of 2016, there was a devastating fire that destroyed much of the general store. The community quickly came together in an effort to rebuild the store.
I think the night of the fire, when people were here gathered and watching, there was a feeling of hopelessness, of a deep loss, of a loss of a family member. The store is part of our community. And I think that lasted all of a few hours, because I think before the smoke cleared, the community decided that we were going to rebuild exactly the way it was.
The goal of rebuilding the store was to build an exact replica of the original structure. The process took just over a year, and the store reopened on April 1st of 2017.
We were really lucky to obtain a general contractor whose daughter happened to be in college, or had just graduated from college, and she majored in historic architecture. As one of her projects, she took pictures of every single square inch of the inside of the store before it was on fire. So you would go in there any given time of the day and see our general contractor with these pictures spread out all over the table, and he would take a piece of something that was burnt on both edges, and he would measure that, and then he would measure the picture. But because of that, he was able to recreate everything that had burnt 100%.
Rabbit Hash is also well known for its canine mayor. Brynneth Paltro, a pit bull, is the current mayor of Rabbit Hash, who won the election in 2016. We met Bryn and her owner, Jordy Bamforth, during our visit. She's the fourth dog to serve as mayor since the first one was elected in 1998. In that election, people were on the ballot first, but locals weren't enthusiastic about the candidates.
The election was going swimmingly, and someone who lived up the road decided that their dog would make a much better candidate than the current people who were trying to take the title. And then another couple that lived down the other way decided their dog was here more and would make a better mayor. So we wound up having two dogs in the front running, and of course the dog named Goofy won.
The election of 2016 was an important fundraiser for Rabbit Hash since that was the year of the fire. About $10,000 was raised, which was used to help rebuild the general store. Jordy Bamforth says one of her goals was to have Bryn be an advocate for pit bulls.
Since she became mayor, it was like, here's my platform to really show people that like all walks of life can come up to this dog and pat her, tug on her tail, and she just doesn't really mind. And then also, we advocate for spaying and neutering.
Since information about Rabbit Hash and its canine mayor are popular on the internet, Bryn has become somewhat of a worldwide celebrity as she met some fans from Asia.
We had some visitors come in and they had seen Bryn on the internet, and apparently she's this big sensation in their town. And so Old Timers Day, I guess they were visiting the United States, and they came down and they got their picture with her, and they were just, you know, really, really excited to meet the mayor. And I was just completely blown away that on the other side of the world, people know about my dog.
For visitors, a trip to Rabbit Hash is a chance to experience things that you don't see in everyday life, as was the case with Kathy Stapleton, who came with her 3 granddaughters.
There's motorcyclists down here all the time. There's a dog for mayor who I haven't seen today, but the girls had never heard that story before. There's a little yellow lab puppy that was laying out for us to play with at the store. They picked out some candy treats and just relaxing and watching the river and explaining what a barge is and what a ferry is and things that they just don't normally see.
Music helps bring visitors to the area, ranging from impromptu jam sessions at the general store to organized events like the monthly barn dances in the summer. In recent years, a new ferry service has started operating between Rising Sun and Rabbit Hash. That's helped bring more people to the area, especially from Indiana.
There's a saying in Rabbit Hash that goes, Rabbit Hash is the center of the universe. And there's a lot of towns that claim that. But when visitors come to Rabbit Hash, even before they've ever heard that saying, they'll sit down on the porch, grab a sarsaparilla, walk down to the river, and you always hear them saying when they get back in their car, wow, this place has something special.
Visitors agree that Rabbit Hash offers a memorable experience for people of all ages.
We invite you to view more video journeys by Sentimental Productions. Our programs focus on our heritage in story, scenery, and song. You can stream other videos on the Sentimental Digital Network website at sdnvideo.com. To buy videos on DVD, visit sentimental.cc or call Sentimental Productions at 1-800-762-0338.